With us to break down all things 2016 is Politico national politics reporter Eli Stokols and Daily Beast politics reporter Betsy Woodruff. Eli, let's start with you first. Bernie Sanders' win in Wyoming Saturday was his 7th win in the last 8 Democratic contests, although Hillary Clinton also picked up some delegates there. But how does Sanders turn his current momentum into a win in New York?
Well, that's a very steep hill for him to climb. This is less for Hillary Clinton at this point. And, you know, Bernie Sanders may close the gap a little bit, but as the race shifts, I mean, she has been trying to pivot to general election mode for the last 6 weeks. She has a new ad out today that hits Donald Trump by name. I mean, she is trying to unify the party. She says, if I could only become the nominee, but you got to win a few more contests. It looks like now the calendar is in a place where she should be able to do that in New York and after New York, because you have a lot of closed primaries coming up sort of in the Acela corridor here in the Northeast, and those are places where Hillary should do a little better, although, you know, we've been saying that she should lock this up for a while, and Bernie Sanders just keeps on winning, so it's going to be an interesting month to see if she can finally put this thing away.
Betsy, the latest poll in New York shows Clinton beating Sanders by 16 points with just over a week until New Yorkers vote. How can Sanders break through?
It's going to be tough, of course. It's certainly an uphill battle for him. That said, given his surprising, almost astonishing victory in Michigan earlier this year, anything's possible. I think it's really interesting to look at how quickly some of his numbers have changed. In an Emerson College poll, he was actually losing to Hillary Clinton in March by 48 percentage points. In that same poll, though, that was taken towards the end of last week, he'd managed to slice her lead down to just 18 points. Of course, losing by 18 points isn't awesome, but it's significantly better than losing by 48. So we know the momentum seems to be going his way. That said, the chances that it's going to be enough are not great. And of course, he won Wyoming over this weekend, but because he didn't win by a large enough margin, he and Hillary Clinton both took the same number of delegates, meaning that win was pretty much only good for momentum. We'll see if it's enough to get him through in New York. It's going to be tough.
Eli, excuse me. Hillary Clinton is out with a new ad also hitting Republican frontrunner Donald Trump. It will only run, though, in New York City, and the theme being that she, and not Bernie Sanders, is the only candidate who can stop Donald Trump. Let's take a listen to it.
He says we should punish women who have abortions.
There has to be some form of punishment.
That Mexicans who come to America are rapists.
They're rapists.
And that we should ban Muslims from coming here at all.
Total and complete shutdown.
Donald Trump says we can solve America's problems by turning against each other. It's wrong. And it goes against everything New York and America stand for.
With so much at stake, she's the one tough enough to stop Trump. Hillary Clinton.
I'm Hillary Clinton, and I approve this message.
So, Eli, whilst the ad is clearly targeted at hitting Donald Trump, there's also some subtle imagery and words there being used against Senator Sanders. What'd you make of it?
Well, I mean, I think what Hillary Clinton is trying to do is, you know, she has not really excited or set the grassroots base of the progressive left on fire throughout this process here. Bernie Sanders has done that. And I think what helps her is contrasting herself against Donald Trump. I mean, only Donald Trump has higher negatives than Hillary Clinton. And so as much as this is concerning for the Republicans who are worried about seeing Donald Trump become the nominee, Hillary Clinton knows that this is a sort of contrast that makes her look better as well. And I think, you know, when it comes to Senator Sanders could be an interesting general election matchup against Donald Trump too. But I think what Clinton is saying is, look, I'm the more electable Democrat. Everybody knows it. Let's figure this out and let's get going and let's turn the page and focus on the general election.
Betsy, I want to ask you about this new AP poll that came out. It shows Clinton beating Trump on a wide range of issues, including how they would handle immigration, health care, international trade, working with Congress, and making America great, which is, of course, the phrase that Trump coined. It found that more Americans think Hillary Clinton will make America great than Trump, 33% to 28%. So what are the implications of that if Clinton and Trump are the nominees come November?
Well, the implications are that Trump's going to have a really bad time in November, of course, if he's the Republican nominee. It's tough to overcome numbers like that. I imagine this is particularly irksome for Republican Party leaders, given, as Eli said, that Hillary Clinton's favorability numbers are underwater. Overall, voters in the United States aren't super confident in her. She does especially poorly with voters when you ask them about honesty and trustworthiness. That said, of course, when she goes head-to-head with Trump, it's a completely different picture. I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find two candidates who have less in common than this pair, and the contrast really couldn't be more stark. So, of course, it'd be great for Hillary, at least in theory, if she gets a chance to go up with Trump, assuming that these numbers hold out. And the reality is that Trump's had trouble sort of getting those numbers to change, particularly with women. He's seen his numbers with female voters just not improve. So the AP poll is certainly good news for her, especially if it holds.